Coming up on Survivor TV, she's an actress and an author of a page turner. You don't want to miss this. Welcome to Survivor TV. I'm Tamika Felder, and I'm here with actress and author Danielle Sepulveres. She is the author of Losing It, the Semi Scandalous Story of an Ex-Version. What is that?
You sound like my father. It's a memoir. It's a coming-of-age story, mostly centered around losing my virginity.
I have to tell you, it's a page turner. I came to your book signing and I had a great time. Got on the train to go back to DC and I could not stop with this book. It's touching, it's hilarious, but what I like is that you don't hold back. You talk about your journey with HPV, and a lot of women don't want to talk about HPV. So why did you decide to write the book and talk about HPV?
That's exactly why I wrote it, is because no one was talking about it, and it's such a common thing, and 3 out of 4 women are going to contract it in their lifetime. So I thought, why isn't anyone talking about this? This is so normal. It's unfortunately become a normal part of growing up. And you know, I had the luxury of having a very good doctor who explained things to me and educated me so that I, you know, didn't get caught up in sort of sensationalized news bits about, you know, cervical cancer and HPV and sort of was misinformed like a lot of people are. And, you know, I wanted to tell the story too because when I was diagnosed, they were like, oh, there's no way to know, you know, where this came from. I'm like, oh, I know, because there's been one guy and that's it. And so I know, and they're like, that's so not, you know,
the norm.
That's not the typical, you know, case that we're presented with.
Because usually you can't trace it back to who you got it from.
Yes, and so I could. And it was just, you know, so it was just all these sort of things happening that made me grow up really, really fast and scare me, you know, at the age of 23. And I thought, you know, I didn't need to be scared, but I just felt very alone at the time. And I thought if I can write this book and make sure that no one else has to feel the way I felt going through this, then that's all I really want.
HPV does not care.
Does not
discriminate.
Yeah, you know, neither does cervical cancer.
Exactly.
It doesn't care who you are. And, you know, and I thought that's an important point. And I'm glad, and I actually wish more people were reading my book because especially now there's sort of this very divisive, you have your one end of the spectrum where Michael Douglas is talking about, you know, oral cancer from, you know,
people going down on
from oral sex, and then you have, you know, an episode of Girls with Lena Dunham, which I love, but where most of the characters are like, oh, it's not really a big deal,
right? Yeah. And they give out the wrong information.
Yeah. And the truth is, it's really more in the middle of both of those things, and the majority of cases are in the middle, but nobody wants to talk about the middle. They either want to, you know, make jokes about, oh, Michael Douglas went down on his wife, and now he has
that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, oh my God, they're taking us back. We've, you know, leaps forward, but now we're going to go back some more.
Right.
And we have to make sure that the right information is out there. So what do you want people to take away from your book, Losing It?
Health-wise, of course, most importantly is to, you know your body, take care of your body, and be informed about your body, which, you know, as much as I thought I was, and I was a lot more than most people, I still wasn't as informed as I could have been, and then I made it a point to be more educated and to know everything that I could know about what was going on, and you know, what you can do in terms of awareness and prevention, and just talking to people and you know, telling your story. As I talk in the book that I ran into people who I just met at cocktail parties, and you know, if it comes up, everyone's like, oh yeah, I have it, or I had it.
Because it's so common.
Yes.
So what are your top 3 pieces of advice you would give someone who's recently diagnosed with HPV?
One, I would say don't panic. Number 1.
Very important.
Because I did. And you don't need to. Two, schedule a time to sit down with your doctor and just find out everything. Is it mild? Is it moderate? Are they concerned that it's going to, could quickly turn into cervical cancer? Are they going to monitor it, and see what happens? Is there something you need to be doing if you're dating someone, or if you're married or whatever? Is there something specifically that you now need to take care of with your partner? Just all these questions that, instead of letting them fester in your head like I did, you make it a point to just get answers and find out, because it's really not as scary once you just start talking about it. And
I think that's true. It's not.
Yeah, it's true. And three, don't be embarrassed.
I think that's the toughest one,
yes,
actually.
That's the toughest one. Don't be embarrassed. There's a fourth, buy my book.
And that leads me to my next thing. Where can people buy this wonderful book?
You can buy it on Amazon. You can buy it on Barnes & Noble. Either website. You can go to Barnes & Noble, and not every store will be carrying it. So if they're not specifically having it in stock, you can ask for it and they'll order it for you. And any indie bookstore as well, you can ask for it and they'll order it for you. But online is the fastest way, and it's available on the Kindle and Nook as well.
Thank you so much for joining us and telling me all of your scandalous tales. She is Danielle Sepulveres, the author of Losing It, the Semi Scandalous Story of an Ex-Virgin. Go out there and get it. This is Survivor TV. Thank you so much for joining us. Go to survivor.org, sign up on our email listserv, and we'll see you next week.